All right, Daniela, thank you very much. 2 years from right now, Kansas City will be full of soccer fans from around the world as we prepare to host the FIFA 2026 World Cup.
And along with KC being a host city for matches, we found out yesterday it could be a home base for teams as well.
It's a big deal. Take a look at this map. Now, KC is in red appropriately. That means it's potentially a home base and will host World Cup matches. We know that second part is true. If it's selected as a home base, the greater area would support up to 3 different international teams staying here in Kansas City and basing all their moves around being in KC. Where will those home base camps be? All around the area. One is at the KC Current Training Facility in Riverside, another at Sporting KC's Training Center in KCK. The final one would be at the University of Kansas in Lawrence. Each location connected to a specific hotel for the teams. Hotel Kansas City, the Sheraton Overland Park, and Stonehill Lawrence for those respective spots. Now, as we get more news from FIFA just 2 years out, we really want to check in on how we're doing preparing for all those thousands of people to be here for that great soccer event.
Yeah, lots to prepare for. KSHB 41 News reporter Marlon Martinez found out for us. Marlon, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Me being a huge soccer fan, growing up in a soccer family, that was one of my biggest questions. Hey, what's going on with the FIFA World Cup here in Kansas City? So I spoke with Kathy Nelson, president of the KC Sports Commission and Visit KC, and she tells me gears are rolling here ahead of the biggest event in Kansas City.
Now we're really focused on creating our working groups and making sure transportation, security, arts and culture, and our heritage and music and all that starts to shine through. So all of those groups now are starting to get up and focused and running.
While also talking with Kathy yesterday, she mentioned how proud she is of our city. She gathers with other host cities every single month to listen to each other on what they're doing ahead of the World Cup. And she tells me that a lot of those hosts are getting up on the podium and they're acknowledging Kansas City for what they're doing ahead of the World Cup in preparation. So she says she's getting excited every single time that she hears Kansas City gets mentioned for the work that is being done here. So what's next for Kansas City? She tells me that next year, FIFA World Cup officials will start making their rounds here in Kansas City just to make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Back to you all.
And interesting, Kathy told me more than a year ago that when those host city or when those countries come, they can make changes. They can build things if they want to. If they see things that they want to add to it, that's a possibility too. Marlon, with all these big events, including the draft last year in Kansas City, transportation is a big topic of conversation. Is can we handle moving people around town when they're all here? Update us on the streetcar, because that's a big part of that conversation. We see cones all behind you there on Main Street.
Yeah, and we will be able to come 2026 because as of right now, I was able to speak with streetcar officials and they tell me that they are 80% complete in their expansion here for the streetcar. They are rolling. So here in the next few months, you're going to see a lot of less construction and fewer cones and more streets, as we've been talking about. This has been, a mess for a lot of us driving down Main Street, down to the plaza, but it's exciting because these streetcars will be carrying thousands of people for the World Cup. Back to you all.
From all across the world, too.
Marlon, thank you. It is so interesting, too, when you drive by a spot that was torn up for the streetcar. Now it's complete, and you can see the tracks in the ground. Yeah. Kansas City set to host 6 matches in the FIFA World Cup in 2 years. There'll be 4 group stage matches, 1 round of 32, and here's the big one. Kansas City's going to host a quarterfinal match in the World Cup. The first one is set for June 16th of 2026. All matches, as you know, will be played at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium.